Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we're going to go into something today that most people aren't talking about because all you see in the news is coronavirus and the economy crashing, and we need to go into the stories that we are being distracted from as well, and one of them being Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden being charged with sexual assault? You'd think this would be all over the news right now, considering the fact that, of course, Joe Biden is the lead presidential contender for the Democratic Party against Donald Trump. In 2020, though, there's talk about the election being postponed. We'll go into all that later. But, of course, Joe Biden has been known for years, starting in alternative circles, moving into the mainstream, as someone that likes to sniff kids' hair, touch people inappropriately, and, it has been overlooked for decades. Meanwhile, many of us have been shouting about it, and people just call us conspiracy theorists. I mean, is this a conspiracy theory? We could see these images here. They're real, except for, well, this one isn't real. But nonetheless, let's get into the latest news here. As it says out of Zero Hedge, believe all women. Joe Biden's sexual assault accuser has now filed a criminal complaint. And as the article goes into, Tara Reeder, the staffer who recently accused Joe Biden of sexually assaulting her when she worked for him more than 25 years ago, has now filed a criminal complaint against the presumptive Democratic nominee. And I quote, "I filed a police report for safety reasons only. All crime stats beyond limitations. Gratitude for all who have stood by me," Reed tweeted out on Friday night. She filed a complaint with the Washington Metropolitan Police Department, according to the Washington Examiner. Since it is illegal to file a false criminal complaint, the action represents an escalation of her accusations against Biden. Recall in late March, we first detailed the allegations against Biden. Reed accused Biden last year of inappropriate behavior when she worked in the Senate office in 1993, and says Biden touched her inappropriately when she was in her mid-20s. And I quote, "My life was hell," said Reed when the accusations first broke. "This was about power and control. I couldn't get a job on the Hill." Reed gave a graphic podcast interview with Rolling Stone's Katie Halper, where she tells her full story, describing a graphic incident from 1993 in which a superior asked her to run a gym bag to Biden down towards the Capitol. When Biden greeted her, not allegedly, of course, since we're believing all women, he forced her up against a wall and shoved his hands up her skirt. Seems like something he would do. "Biden's hands were on me and underneath my clothes," she said, after he had me up against the wall. And I quote, "I remember him saying first, like as he was doing it, 'Do you want to go somewhere else?' She said, adding, and then him saying to me when I pulled away, he got finished doing what he was doing, and I kind of just pulled back and said, 'Come on, man, I heard you liked me.' And that phrase stayed with me because I kept thinking what I might have said, and I can't remember exactly if he said I thought or I heard, but he implied that I had done this." Reed then went on to say that everything shattered in that moment because she knew that there were no witnesses and she looked up to him. "He was like my father's age," she said. "He was like this champion of women's rights in my eyes, and I couldn't believe it was happening. It seemed surreal." Reed then said Biden grabbed her by the shoulders and said, "You're okay, you're fine," and proceeded to walk away. Reed said that after she revealed some of Biden's inappropriate behavior, she was accused of doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin, according to The Intercept. Isn't it incredible that someone calls out someone like Joe Biden for doing something like this, and they're accused of being the puppet of Vladimir Putin? I mean, talk about hypocrisy, and we're going to get into that hypocrisy a bit in a moment, but just note that Joe Biden has for years claimed that he championed women's rights and believe all women, right? Believe all women. Now, I'm not saying that you should believe every woman, because obviously that is destructive and against the very idea of truth. You need to really look on a case-to-case basis, but obviously the ball should be more in the woman's court depending on the situation, and you should take it from there. But to believe all women is also not a real, honest, reasonable, rational thing to do, because obviously there can be women that lie, and then there's women that don't lie, and it's one of those issues that it's a very difficult issue to get to the bottom of. But for a person to say believe all women and then be accused of countless examples of sexual assault and misconduct, It's just the epitome of politics and hypocrisy, which is one and the same. And also keep in mind that we interviewed Bill Clinton's rape accuser, Juanita Broderick, more than once here on this channel as well. And she had a similar situation. And she was talking about back in Arkansas back in 1978 or 79, talking about this kind of stuff. It was all on the man's side. Women weren't believed, and they were looked at as hussies and people that looked for that kind of attention in that time period. So we also have to consider different eras. It wasn't always the way it is now. Now it's too extreme on one side. It used to be too extreme on the other side, and we need to find a certain medium here. But anyway, going on to the next article, which goes into this hypocrisy a bit, as it says out of The Guardian. Why has the media ignored sexual assault and misbehavior allegations against Biden? And this woman, Arwa Madawi, mentions that it's very frustrating that, as she says, it is hugely frustrating to see conservatives who couldn't give a damn about the multiple sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump weaponize the accusations against Biden. However, it's also frustrating to see so many liberals turn a blind eye. The accusations against the former vice president are serious. Why aren't they being taken seriously? And that's the same thing with Bill Clinton. And that is the issue, that people have made this into a political game, which is sick. I mean, look at this recent article out of Reason where it shows Joe Biden's sexual assault allegation made Alyssa Milano backtrack on believing all women. Under fire for refusing to support Tara Reade, Milano says she never thought Me Too would destroy innocent men. Well, how does she know that? How does she know that? How does she know that he's innocent? Because of politics? Talk about a seriously mentally disturbed person. Alyssa Milano went from cute girl in the 90s to just one of the most atrocious Hollywood celebrities. And it's painful to read some of her messages. But she went on and on in the past about believing all women if it benefits her political standpoint, and that's sick. We've seen similar issues with the Jeffrey Epstein case. Republicans go on the plane, liberals bash them. Liberals go on the plane, or Democrats go on the plane, Republicans bash them, but they don't bash each other. I mean, where is the political consistency there? I mean, you have politics, and then you have child rape or just rape. And politics should not play into that. And if it does, then you don't give a damn about the people that are being victimized. You only care about benefiting your standpoint, which is selfish, which is sick, which is truly, truly atrocious, and shows what kind of terrible person you truly are. If you are seriously basing sexual assault allegations not on the evidence at hand, but on politics, shame on you. Shame on you. And that's what we see today. This noise, distraction, yelling, divide over the collectivist flavors, the paradigm of politics, organized crime. Whether someone wants to steal your money to put into this thing or steal your money to put into that thing should not play a part in whether a woman or a child has been assaulted. There's a few cases where people came out against the left. Thankfully, we saw that with people like Dennis Hastert, who, of course, raped a bunch of kids, former Speaker of the House. And then on top of that, we have, examples like Kevin Spacey, who, of course, was a far leftist in Hollywood, and Harvey Weinstein, who was a far leftist in Hollywood, that both sides came up against, which is good. But also, you have very strange, hypocritical issues where many Republicans have been clearly involved in touching women and grabbing women, and suddenly the right is like, oh, but that's all conspiracy theory. And in some cases, it could be. It doesn't matter. It could be on the left as well. But the point is, you shouldn't be judging something by politics. Look at Canada, too. Justin Trudeau was found groping. He didn't necessarily deny it. He just said that people were mistaken, what they assumed he was doing. But he was groping a bunch of women, and all these people on the left didn't care. It's like the same thing as a blackface controversy. Someone on the right wears blackface, the left goes after him. Someone on the left wears blackface, the right goes after them. But they don't go after each other for doing the things that they said the other side shouldn't do. There's no consistency, and that is another disease of politics. And it's truly, it hurts to watch. Let's go into this next piece, which goes back in time a little bit here. As it says from the cut, don't expect an apology from Joe Biden. This is from around the time, April 4th, 2019, about a year ago. And it was just basically that he refused to apologize. But he did do a video about a year ago on, how he will rethink how he treats women in the future after all these people started calling him out for groping, for hugging, for touching, for kissing, for sniffing. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm just, good old Uncle Joe. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. You didn't know you weren't supposed to go up to little kids and start sniffing their necks, or going up to interns or wives of people that you're bringing into office and kissing them on the necks and behind the ears and sniffing their hair. You didn't know you weren't supposed to do that? What world are you living in, dude? What world are you living in where you don't recognize that is not something a person should be doing? Anyway, with this said, it's all about people trying to gain power over you. Politics attracts the worst kind of people, the most psychopathic people, the most selfish people, the most mentally distraught people. And regardless of left or right, it's all about controlling you, the masses. And they say that the election may be postponed this year due to coronavirus. And, there's talk in the UK of elections being pushed off until May 2021. And, there's talks about June 2021 for the U.S. elections. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's all bad. Right now we're witnessing the biggest control grab of all time globally, and the greatest depression we've ever seen globally. It's absolutely horrendous what we're witnessing today, and I hope to God that all of you are prepared and staying safe. It's not just about the fear-mongering of the coronavirus. It's about the economics of it and how it's going to disrupt people, and how it's the financial side of it is going to kill far more people than the virus. And keep in mind that Bill Gates recently said himself that the virus won't kill as many people as he thought, and that the shutdowns will actually kill a lot more people, millions of people, but the shutdowns need to keep happening. But the election, whether it's put off or not, remember, democracy is just two wolves and a sheep deciding what to have for dinner. Never forget that. It's all about controlling the populace, left or right. It's a collectivism, and you are voting for a master to enslave the people who disagree with you. Taxation is theft. Government is organized crime. Rule yourself, folks. Be free. Live by example. Only you can make yourself free. Of course, I'm down here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico right now because I knew I had to evade the issue of martial law and the communist control of private property and being forced into homes. Government taking over the homes, paying rent, apparently. Nothing's free, guys. This is just a control plandemic. It's bioengineered, and it's meant to enslave you further. And the election will not matter at the end of the day if this hasn't proven to you that presidents don't have any power. I don't know what will. But anyway, I really appreciate everyone joining me today. Make sure to hit that like button below. Share this on social media, and check out our new newsletter at www.iamband.com. It will help keep us alive. And GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, just $1 a month or more can keep us alive. And there's Bitcoin addresses, all that kind of stuff. So check out that below and join us on float.app. That's flote.app. All of that stuff and more in the outro coming up right away. Until next time, thanks for joining us, everyone. And this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
Like what you see here, OM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against the mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like float.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at Wham. Float is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WHAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.